watch the movie? No. But I have discussed Wuthering Heights enough with everyone, and I actually read the book. I know, it's insane. People actually read Wuthering Heights before going to the movies and seeing it. And to me, it brought up a larger discussion that kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having some feelings, I'm having some thoughts, I've got my water. Why do these characters only want to bang? I'm going to try and use the nicest sort of expression so that this entire thing doesn't get banned, because I kind of want to upload this later. But is it just me in my little bubble, or like all of the romance books lately skipping the romance part, like going straight, like, okay, hi Tids, hi, welcome. So I want to just preface this by saying, if you're just joining now, hi Grace. I don't want anybody to put in jail. Hey Zoe, I love smut, okay? I love smut in books, and I also love closed door romance, and I need to say that out loud, straight up. Hey book lover. I love books where they can't get enough of each other, and they're all over each other, and they're like ready to jump each other's bones, 1000%. But I also love books where nobody holds hand until page 400. Do you feel me? If you're one of those people, like, I can read closed door, and I can get them to jump into bed at the same time, I read them both. Same. And I'm not here to police anybody's reading habits. If you're like, I only like closed door romance, feel free to comment closed door. I accept you. I respect you. I'm not here, if I start policing everybody, that's how dictatorships start. Now that I've established that, I am not the romance police. Can we talk about how some romance lately just feels like their entire relationship is just like horny eyes and in monologues about thighs? It's like, okay, this is not a sex issue. Like, desire in romance books is perfectly normal because it's normal, like, in real life, right? Like, explicit book scenes exist for a reason, is what I'm trying to get at. I enjoy them thoroughly, very much. If you also enjoy them, yay for you. We are on the same boat, sister. However, there is a difference between the sexy times happening within a love story versus the sexy times being the only thing that is happening. Again, have not seen the Wuthering Heights movie, but the press right now is looking very much like the leather, right? And I think, and definitely tell me if this is just me in my weird BookTok bubble, or if you're feeling this too. I've noticed a pattern where the entire dynamic between two characters is like, they're both hot. They want to jump each other's bones. They think about jumping each other's bones every, 0.5 seconds. They finally do it. And then it's like rinse and repeat for the next 60 chapters. Yes, Ash, thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me. Because it's driving me insane. I feel like I've lost my mind. Like, that's fine if, people just, in characters in books just want to get at it. Good. But that does not a romance make. Okay, the entire female main character's internal monologue being only he's got huge biceps, he's got great abs. Ugh, that's not a book, okay? That is not, and I don't get why everyone's horny, but I also kind of get it. And I don't want to call authors lazy, because I'm an author. If you've read my books, I'm pulling them out. Lavender Bay, Pacific Cold Front, Bondi Street Blues. Sexy scenes happen, okay? Because that is the nature of the book. And I don't want to call authors lazy and say, oh, it's easier to write, sexual attraction than crafting, deep, emotional intimacy. But I do think we have a case right now where our entire culture is just horny. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm just going to jump in the chat real quick before I give you examples. Book Lover says, I feel like now people are writing more smut because it's sold a lot, but it's not, too much if it's the only plot. That's my point. If it's the only plot, if nothing else is happening, that is not a romance. That's not a story. Zoe says, low-key, while I like Austin, zero smut and lots of romance. We're going to get to that because she wasn't that much better. I have some examples for you. But before I get to that, I'm going to make my point that I feel like everybody's horny lately and it's become very acceptable. And I think that's why it's gotten so big in romance books now. Thinking about it, my, boss could be talking about Bridgerton over the coffee machine. He has. And I'm like, sir, do you realize realize there are naked people in it. I don't feel like this is appropriate office chatter. My aunt has opinions on, like, heated rivalry spicy scenes. I'm like, I don't want to know what you do in the privacy of your own home, woman. And I had a chat with my friend today. She and her friend went to watch Wuthering Heights, the movie now, adaptation in the movies. Her friend, who had never read Wuthering Heights, said there weren't enough scenes of them getting nasty. And I did, okay, moment of silence, you know? Okay. Hey, Renzik, yeah, I do live stream sometimes, just when I need a yap, because, like, that situation alone is the reason I jumped on live right now, because I was like, I can't be the only one feeling this. Surely somebody else feels this. I feel like you can't scroll 10 minutes without seeing abs or cleavage on any app, like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We are saturated in this culture where you're just like, there's always sexual content happening. No matter your age, no matter your gender, you're gonna get shoved into it. And my point in all of this being, I think the boundary between erotica and romance in literature, specifically in our books, has gotten a lot blurrier because sex has become the, like, default language of attraction in mainstream culture. Like, you talk about liking someone, and maybe, okay, I haven't dated in a long time. I was never really good at dating. But tell me if this is, like, the case or this is just me. I feel like when you talk to somebody about a person you like in a relationship, the default tone is always like, how hot are they? Have you jumped in bed yet? Have you done XYZ nasty thing? And I'm like, what? Like, are they a good person to you? Like, when did we just skip any kind of, like, relationship building and just went straight into boning, you know? Hey, table, hi. It's so weird to try and say people's names, because I'm like, I don't know if that's the right name, so I just go with the username. But yeah, going back also, I know, like, I know I said I wasn't going to blame authors. Again, I'm an author who writes spicy scenes, so I know how awkward it is. And I also kind of changed my mind. It is easier to write lust than love. Like, I'm gonna tell you, as in 3 published books right here, somebody who's made like nearly $1,000 just selling books. Thank you so much if you read my books, by the way, Lavender Bank. But the point is, it's like writing believable chemistry, like 2 people slowly building up intimacy and making sense for each other. It's freaking hard, okay? Writing, I want to do unspeakable things to you that would get me banned in 19 states. Easy peasy, you know? It's significantly easier. So I get why sex has become the main engine in a lot of stories. Like, it is efficient, it is instantly, like, legible, you instantly get the connection, right? But efficiency is not the same thing as romance. So if you two have been pissed off, 1,000% we're in the same boat. Zavira said, I get your point. Reading dark romance / smut as being ace, but I 100% skip books where there is no story behind anything, and the lines have been so blurry at times. I totally get it, because I am not an overtly... Okay, how much TMI can I get here? How much can I say? Because none of this is monetized, and I'm just exposing myself. But I'm not somebody in real life who's, like, flashing them goodies about... Like, I've not dated a lot at all. And I read a lot of dark romance, and I read a lot of smut. And I just feel like it's too much. Like, I get it. Just give me a story, you know? Fable says there are so less people here. We need more people to discuss about books. Yeah, absolutely. Bring a friend. And Resnick said, also, I was the one who recommended Berserk a lot. I'm a who just got into dark romance. And yeah, the dark romance thingies, yeah, definitely. I know I need to read Berserk. But it's getting to my point as well that it's like, at some point, it just gets too much. Where, like, again, I understand why an author is going to just put smutty scenes inside spicy scenes. I get that it sells as well. But I think being efficient and being legible and, like, everybody understands why they are attracted to each other because they're hot. Efficiency is not the same thing as a good romance book. It's not the same thing as a good book, right? And... Easy the Fangirl says there's a difference between when it adds to the plot and it is the plot. Exactly. Okay, because relax, okay, this is not a books used to be better tantrum. I am really not the person that's going to tell you, oh, it's the new, like, contemporary books. old school romance, somebody mentioned Jane Austen. They were not morally superior by any means. I did my research. Okay, what a real sacrifice, I know. They did the exact same thing as books are doing now, but they use different methods. Back then, if you read one of those old school books, emotional repression was like on par with chemistry. If I say like Mr. Darcy couldn't even speak to her, he's down bad, you'd be like, yeah, that's freaking weird. The man should be able to like express his emotions. Like, authors were using kidnapping as foreplay. The amount of like possessive man that were like, yeah, he's so romantic, he's so possessive, or like cruelty being labeled as angst was through the roof back then. Authors have always and consistently used shortcuts to signal desire, to signal connection. Nowadays, I just feel like books now just swapped it out and let sex do a lot of the heavy lifting that actual development used to do, right? Table says, my favorite book is the romance genre is The Invisible Life of Audelaire and is generally peak. It's something. Is it like very smutty? Because I'm down for something that's a little bit less, if I'm completely honest with you. Book Lover says, another thing is that sometimes there could be a lot of spice and it being too much because, and it being too much, the story is non-existent, but there are also times where there is a lot of spice but a really good plot. And that's the thing, I need a balance, okay? I don't want less spice, and to be honest, I think all of us can agree here that I don't think we do either. If you're watching this in the replay, or if you're watching this right now and you do want less spice, please comment less spice. I get it. I can recommend you books that are fully closed door. One of my favorite reads from last year is a closed doors, like no smut at all book. I made a whole video about it. Like drop it somewhere. What did I call it? I call it like the worst biker romance or something like that because it got really bad reviews because it was closed door, but I loved it. Point being, I don't want less spice. I don't think you do either. I think a lot of readers are feeling the same thing as me, but we are all struggling to articulate it without being dragged to hell by people being like, you're just a prude. We're not being prudes. It's not that we don't want smut in the books or that the books are too spicy. Like, I bought the books, okay? I bought the Five Brothers by Penelope Doug. I knew what I was getting myself into, okay? I knew what I came for. And at the same time, I think we want more kinds of intimacy beyond the physical. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and please do share your thoughts, I think vulnerable conversations that aren't immediately, like, resolved by them jumping into bed, where do those happen? I need them to spend time together that isn't just foreplay. I need just, like, plain shared silence. You know? I need people to genuinely care, like, characters to genuinely care for each other as, like, human beings. And, yeah, Lit Enemy is a really good point here. Dark romance does not equal spice or smut. Perfect example of this, okay? The book is not great. I started reading The Brit. I wish I knew. Let me quickly Google it. Because it's such a good book. It is dark romance. It is a book by Jodi Ellen Malpass, okay? It's called The Brit. It's a dark romance. I am like 50% of the way in, and they have not had a smut scene. They have not jumped into bed. And it is a dark romance. And it is like a fun book, and it has like actual layers, context, fun stuff. Read it at your peril because it's not written majestically. But the sex, when it does finally happen, it will add to the connection, not replace it. Right? Yeah, Book Lover says, I agree. We should have more emotional intimacy than just physical. Yes, that's my point. Exactly. Hey, Luna, welcome. We're basically yapping about a bunch of characters. Like, books nowadays, they miss actual connection. Every character just wants to jump each other's bones. And frankly, I'm a bit tired of it. I don't get what we're doing. Like, I want the sex to add to the connection, not replace it. And when the romance doesn't click, especially in contemporary romances, I feel like a lot of us are saying, I guess I just, like, hate romance books now. Or, like, I guess I just, like, romance books nowadays just suck. When what is happening is I think we're missing the romance part of romance reads. There is no romance. People are just boning each other. which I think is why, and again, thoughts. Contemporary romance has been getting such a weird reputation lately, especially if you go on BookTok or YouTube or, like, all of these creators are, like, bashing on authors and stuff. And I don't think this reputation is earned or justified at all. I just think there's a lot of lust pretending to be love, and we keep being served sexual tension with no depth. And we are freaking tired. Like, okay, yes, Luna, where is the yearning? I made, like, a little short video, like, ages ago talking about, like, I love a man who yearns and gets on his knees. And everybody jumped in the comments. I did not think the video was going to do that well. Everybody loved it because we all agree that we are missing the yearning. For real, we are missing the yearning. We are missing the emotional intimacy, the empathy. Shraddha said, especially more annoying to me because I began with less spice or no spice books. Some of these books have no plot and only sex. That is, like, exactly my point. Like, what do you miss most in romance books lately? Because I know I'm complaining, but personally, I miss them knowing each other before the spice. I want more conversation. I want more quiet moments. I don't know. Something just feels off to me. And, like, okay, sometimes I'm like, I'm fine. And I want them to bone it. Because I do, obviously. Like, there's a reason why those scenes exist. But I'm a bit tired, you know? I want them to feel like these are genuine people. And I think, like, wanting actual, you know, story around the spice isn't asking for too much. And if it is, and if wanting that makes you a prude, then congratulations. I'm a prude too, sister. I don't know. Nobody who sees any of my content would call me a prude, but maybe they should. Stanton Soul said, yeah, like, where is the banter, the deep conversation, just normally comforting each other with them going at each other? Okay, that's another thing. How many scenes can you genuinely look back at how many scenes in books you've read lately where the characters are comforting each other and it doesn't turn sexual? I can't. God damn, sorry. But I cannot recall a heart comfort scene where it doesn't terminate and then, like, getting freaky in the sheets. You know? Nova said, a morning book is like having, a modern book is like having a bowl of oats, but you replace the bowl of oats with a bowl of sugar and 2 mere oats. A book needs more oats, fruit, and glass of water for it to be a good book full of content. And that's the thing, like, as I was mentioning, like, I mentioned it at the start, it's like, old books weren't any better. They also found, like, old authors also found, like, different ways to make tension happen faster without, like, actually crafting deep intimacy. But that's not justification. Like, you as an author should be capable of writing a scene and writing characters who get to know each other and who feel like they make sense for each other. And I think that's why also I hated the pregnancy trope so much, because it was another shortcut. It was just like, oh, these 2 people now have a baby and that's why they belong together. And I'm like, no. Look, why do they belong? Where is the chemistry, you know? And again, okay, I think it was in my first book, one of the characters meet and it's like, immediate instant attraction on a physical level. It takes them like 2.5 books to actually, like, make sense for each other, but that's called development, right? It shouldn't be that hard to actually develop people loving each other. I don't know. Easy says, sex is definitely a part of a relationship, and so is us. But okay, I'm Ace. A relationship is more than lust and sex. Exactly, and you shouldn't have to be Ace to understand that, right? You shouldn't, like, a normal person understands that. And yes, okay, books are fiction, yada yada. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But they are based in real life. And in real life, if you are with somebody solely for the physical attraction, that's not a relationship that's gonna last very long, I don't think. Yeah? Kristen said, OMG, absolutely would confident you're one of my faves. Oh my god, hi Kristen, so nice to have you here. And Suda said, hey Rachel, I love your shorts a lot and I love your content so much. Thank you so much. And Simi said, I would really love some more closed door romance facts. Always hear smutty books recommended to me on BookTok. And I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I definitely get smut, but I think the connection often just poofs. And that's the thing. what is the book called? Whispers of Fire by Cassie Callaghan. One of my favorite reads last year. That's what it was called. And it's closed door. And the 3 books on the series by Cassie Callaghan, all closed door. Don't think she gets enough credit. Even if you like BookTok books and just want closed door, I may be wrong. I think Bailey Hannah also does closed door that I enjoyed, like, not so much, but a little bit. She was quite fun. Again, it's just like trying to find. It's so hard to actually find good books that understand romance without just, getting in bed with each other. Leidana says, also many books feel like they have a checklist for the tropes, and I just think many books are just written for the mainstream. And those old books are written in a time where they just wrote the story what they thought was right for their story. And I agree, and I think that's, trope fatigue is something that I could make an entire live on, and I feel like that's kind of what you're hinting at, is like, everything's a checklist. Everything falls into pre-baked categories. Like, this is how it's gonna go, and this is how it's gonna be. And they're enemies to lovers, so on the first third, they're gonna hate each other, and then this is gonna... Like, everything feels so formulaic that you miss all the creativity and all the fun. And, like... And this is coming from somebody who loves fan fiction. Like, I can read about the same 2 idiots doing the same thing in 3 different universes, But even I get tired of those same 3 idiots. I found a beautiful fanfiction. Thank God that treats romances properly. Perfectly. Perfect. I'm so glad for you. But yeah, that was my entire yap. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoy my lives, please make sure to subscribe. Also, I have a membership, so I decide, like, what content I'm gonna do lives and videos about. You can join on my channel if you want. It's, like, just to help me continue making more books and continue showing up for you, because I get paid for none of this. I'm not monetized. This is just me yapping. Thanks so much for joining me and coming live with me. Bye. Thank you, guys.